welcome to Signaturetv interview. My name is Obiora Ane, and today we have a chieftain of the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, former special advisor to the immediate past president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, on inter-party relations, and currently the national secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP Caretaker Committee. Chief Senator Ben Obi, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome yourself.
People's Democratic Party, PDP, elected convention is here. How ready is the party to go?
Ready as we can. Things are very much in place. We've done all the basics. But more importantly, we have in place the Convention Planning Committee, headed by His Excellency Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, the Governor of Delta State, who has taken charge since the inauguration on Monday. One thing you cannot take away from him is that he's a man of details and a man who has patience to understand whatever people or members want to say to him. But he has a clear mind, a focus of what he wants to do. And it tallied completely with the projections of the Caretaker Committee that we want to leave a legacy we can fault, and that we want to conduct a convention that neither B nor A will have a reason to complain. Therefore, in terms of preparation for the convention, I guess, and I say without any fear of contradiction, that we are indeed absolutely and totally prepared.
You know, apparently this is a convention for the National Working Committee. What manner of election are we looking forward to here?
Well, the screening committee is going on, and but we have made arrangements for all the elections. There are 21 offices that are going to be vied for. Now, there are quite a number of contestants, and there are some zones that have gone ahead to microzone. In such instances, we may not be having too many problems. But you see, no matter how you microzone, you cannot stop any individual from contesting as long as the office is zoned to his or her own zonal catchment. So all I'm saying is that all arrangements towards going into voting proper on Saturday is being taken care of. If there are people who are willing to step down, all well and good. But even if it is a nomination that is unopposed, you still have to do the needful. So, in all of that, the Caretaker Committee, ably led by Senator Ahmed McAfee, had done a lot of work before the arrival of the Convention Planning Committee, so that they will be coming in and just hit the ground running And that's the position.
Now, when you say that some zones are micro-zoned, the party ab initio said there's no micro-zoning. So where is the...
The party did not microzone. We zoned the presidency to the north. We zoned the chairmanship to the south. But we cannot go and say to southern region, southeast, southwest, south-south, don't meet. Neither can we say to northeast, northwest, north central, don't meet. So if it suits them and they come back and say, oh, they've been able to put these and these and these and these in place, all well and good. As long as they can interact with their brothers in the northern region or their brothers in the southern region. But as far as the party is concerned, it is a straightforward message.
That means that maybe the chairmanship may be coming from the southwest specifically or south-south. I had to ask this question because southeast belongs to the south. And so far, nobody from the southeast is making...
Well, nobody has purchased the form for that, so nobody has.
Is it that there's a separate arrangement for the southeast to take any position, for instance?
I will not speak for them. I mean, people just said they wanted to buy forms. It was open to everybody, and they just did not buy.
So how many delegates are we expecting at this convention?
We're expecting a little less than 3,000 delegates. A little less than 3,000 delegates. We're talking, navigating between 2,850, 2,950.
Now, 3,000 delegates. I understand that Anambra State, for instance, and perhaps is it Ondo State, are not sending delegates. What happened?
No, that's not correct. Even if you are in your likelihood event that is an issue, you have statutory delegates. You cannot stop them. And you see, the working committee is supposed to deliberate on the Anambra congresses that just took place. When the other states conducted their congresses, Anambra was preparing for its election. And the chairman of the steering committee, the caretaker committee for Anambra State then, Professor A.B.C. Mosu, wrote to the working committee and requested the working committee to postpone the Anambra congresses in view of the fact that they were going into an election, which made a lot of sense. And at the working committee of the party, it was endorsed and postponed. So last week, up until yesterday, when they concluded all the congresses in Anambra State, the results have just been coming in, and definitely and naturally, the working committee will review the reports that have been sent in by the panel sent out and then take a position. And if the positions are taken and it's clear, then that's it. Osun State is, we had, the ward went well, local government went well, but then they had problems in terms of the state. And then when the problems continued, it now affected the whole process. So we're using purely for Osun State statutory delegates.
Okay, some of the chairmanship candidates are alleging favoritism, that the party seem to be favoring certain parts of the South, like the South-South and stuff. How true is this?
Well, you know, we have tried as much as possible to be open to all of them. I personally enjoy a very mutual relationship with virtually all of them, you know, and here is like a bus stop where they all come to vent their anger and all of that. But I tell you, with all sense of responsibility, that the caretaker committee has been fair to all and sundry. We, as members of the caretaker, took it upon ourselves to say, we will not interfere we will have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with any one of them. We would present to them a level playing field. And then we went ahead to reenact, what you would gladly call an MOU. Recall what I did in 2015 when the tension in the country was so high, so thick, and the international community, everybody was panicking. And then some of the high commissioners and ambassadors approached me and said, look, you've been doing a few of these things. Why not do something to douse the tension? So I arranged an all-party summit, which President Buhari attended, then General Buhari, with President Jonathan, and I got them to sign an MOU. So we got them this time to sign an MOU, which they gladly embraced. And we went further to say, look, give us 2 persons per zone. So for each aspirant, we have 12 persons that will be assigned to all the sensitive subcommittees and the main committee. So they will be there. Should anything go wrong, so that they can alert their principals. My dear brother, how else and how best can you through transparency? Tomorrow, the list of delegates from each of the states will be made public.
So apparently, the scenario you painted was because perhaps there was apprehension in the country then in 2015. Are you expecting anything untoward in this your convention in terms of?
We don't expect anything, but you see, it's just to make assurance doubly sure, to make them understand that we have no reason to shortchange any aspirant. But you see, in politics, when you say A, B, C, D, somebody has gone through the alphabet to Z. And the next thing is that, oh, it's you who said A to Z. We're used to it. But I just want to use this medium to reassure all the aspirants, all the PDP members, we have no interest in who's going to be the chairman or deputy chairman or national public secretary. We have interest in ensuring that we conduct a free, fair, and transparent election that will produce the right people, qualified, competent, as prescribed by members of the PDP, delegates of the PDP. Fortunately, most of the events that we're talking about will be beamed live. And like I said, the chairman of the planning committee, Governor Dr. Signaturetv Yokoa, sounded the note of warning again and again and again today, cautioning all chairmen of the subcommittees, in fact, including the security. And now he said, this time, we are not going to allow campaign into the square. The deputy senate president will come in with his staff car and one extra vehicle. President Jonathan, ditto. The 2 former vice presidents, ditto. The chairman of the Care Committee, ditto. All governors, just their vehicles. So we're going to restrict movement, except you have something to do with the convention. You will not be allowed in. Now don't forget, the last convention we did in August was a non-elective convention. It was more or less like a carnival. We wanted to show Nigerians that, look, this PDP is back and bubbling. But this one is an elective convention. It's business, serious business. So it's not a question of carnival or jamboree. No.
That brings me to the fact that some people are alleging financial inducement, a lot of that. Was why I had to ask, what form of convention are you doing? It's elective convention, but is it like open ballot system or what? Because it was alleged that at the previous conventions you had elective conventions, there were a lot of financial inducement.
Well, you see, politics is an expensive venture, okay? There's no question about that. But to sit back here and say to me inducements that I have not seen, I have not had any complaint or petition in my office against any particular person or persons. So this is just, the rumor mill from the beer parlor, as far as I'm concerned. I do not have any petition. I have not received complaints. And I know that the aspirants have been moving from one point to the other. And when aspirants tour to meet delegates, definitely they will say, oh, for your transportation, this or that. So if that's what they are referring to, then we all must plead guilty. All parties must plead guilty if that is the issue. But like I said, nobody has called me or petitioned to me that A has done this or that. So that is, as far as I'm concerned, from the rumor mills.
They're talking about imposition of candidates. I remember vividly that the former president warned the party against imposition. Flashing back to what happened in 2015, it was alleged that it was because of imposition that the PDP lost the seat at the center. Is there anything like imposition here?
Well, you've heard us say, we did not even bother our heads about time to say, look, or you step down or don't step down. The screening committee has screened them. To the best of my knowledge, nobody has been told to step down or withdraw. So, if that is the case, then I think there are about 8 of them, they will go before members of the PDP on Saturday. And then members of the PDP will decide who will be the chairman. Again, our duty is to make sure that the process is crystal clear.
Your party, about weeks ago, alleged machinations to thwart the convention, saying that some group planning parallel convention as it happened about 4 years ago. What do you say about it? Is it?
Well, yeah, we still, even up till this evening, we still receive reports, of people trying to scuttle the convention. We still hear of people in the ruling party trying to scuttle the convention. But I've taken time off to speak with top functionaries of this government to draw their attention to what we hear. And they have assured me that it's not true. And Knowing President Buhari, the much I do know him, I do not believe he would allow any functionary of his to dabble in the affairs of the People's Democratic Party. Because in our own time, we made sure that nobody was shortchanged. We made sure that the process at all times was free and fair and transparent. And more importantly, that votes counted. So the least we expect of the ruling party is to do the same.
Now, you've had your non-elective convention, which to a large extent was a huge success. But you recall that the party had some other conventions, the Port Harcourt Convention, the convention in Abuja, and then the Port Harcourt Convention was turned out to be something else. It was like a fiasco. It didn't hold. Now, some of your party members had to dissipate, went to some other parties, and then came the final judgment between the former chairman and your own side of the party. What effort are you making to bring back those who have gone out of the party following that issue?
Well, I mean, the conventions in Port Harcourt in 2016, that of May and that of August, were all scuttled by security agencies claiming instructions from above. We were prepared to have our conventions, very colorful manner, rainbow reflections, but that has come and gone. They dragged us in the courts, left, right, and center. But finally, the Supreme Court put paid to all of that. And in the spirit of one family, the national chairman, Senator Ahmed McAfee, declared no victor, no vanquished position for the party. To that extent, we never engaged in any punitive measure against anybody. However, we drew the line, said, henceforth, no more. Be a good party man, discipline, internal democracy, respect for the rule of law, constitution of the party must take sway. If you deviate from any of this, then we'll have a problem, or we have a score to settle with you. But fortunately, we have not. We've been receiving various members of the ruling party discussing with us and demanding some easy way to come back to the party and making certain inquiries of what and what. But we have decided that the playing field will remain level. We're not going to favor anybody, and they are just going to be equally as entitled to anything any member of the party is entitled to. And that has been decided by the highest organ of the party, the National Executive Council of the party. So we don't have any qualms. People have been calling from the National Assembly, from various parts of the country, they want to come back. They are welcome. The umbrella is huge enough to accommodate all of them.
And I'm talking about returning. The former vice president just returned to the party. How do you see his coming back?
Very welcome development. I mean, he was one of the founding fathers of the party who contributed immensely to the growth of the party. So for him, and as he did say, he came back home. A good number of them are outside there. Their home is not the APC, their home is the PDP. And we have stretched a hand of friendship and fellowship to them. And we expect that sooner rather than later, they will come back home to their fold.
But the former vice president has always been in and out of the PDP. For instance, the last time he joined the APC, he said he wasn't going to leave the APC for any other party. But here he is now back to the PDP. Are you sure he has come to stay?
Well, politics is quite dynamic, and all politics, they say, is local. You know, it depends on what your people are saying to you, and more importantly, it depends on how you see the possibility of bettering the lot of your people. So that may be responsible. It's not cast in iron. Actually, more so when the political parties these days are not founded on an ideological basis. So it's nothing, there's nothing no different really between the parties.
Your party said that the former vice president can attend the upcoming convention, but he cannot vote for candidates of his choice. Why did you take that decision?
No, we didn't take that decision. He has to be a delegate. It's a delegate election. When the election for delegates were conducted in his state, he was not then a member of the party. So you wouldn't, just because he was a former vice president, automatically anoint him a delegate. No, it's just that he's not a delegate.
So the PDP Caretaker Committee Chairman, Senator McCarthy, had said that returnees to the party have equal stake with party faithfuls. Does this suggest that returnees like Atiku may aspire to the presidency or presidential position of on the platform of the party?
You just said what the chairman said, so that's the implication. We're not stopping anybody. We're not stopping anybody from attaining any aspirations of his or hers. It's just that we are saying that we are not going to give any special treatment to anybody.
In other words, he may emerge as the presidential candidate of the PDP.
Why do you want to beat the gun? We are talking about who will be the chairman of the party on Saturday. We've not gone to the issue of who will fly the flag of the party. Why are you in a hurry?
And I had to ask because we know, or Nigerians feel, that he has his ambition to go through, which is he left the PDP for APC and canvassed and contested for presidential ticket. He didn't get it. He's back now to the PDP. Is he likely to?
He's not the first person. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. The Constitution does not say you cannot do this or do that with regards to that particular issue. So why we bothered about who moves from pillar A to pillar B?
So how do you see the PDP after this weekend's convention? Is it likely to play its active role as the opposition party in the country?
Well, until the elections of 2019, the PDP will be the strong voice of the oppressed, the deprived, the denied, and the marginalized. And we will do that with all sense of responsibility and discipline of what an opposition party should be. You know, where we find reasons to criticize, we also make it a duty to provide solutions or advise the ruling party on how best to go. It's not just a question of propaganda like we saw in the days and months before the 2015 election, you know, where everything and anything goes. No, PDP has been in government for 16 years. So the PDP is a matured, you know, it's a matured and very experienced political party with men and women who know of tested and proven achievements.
Is it largely the reason for the party being very quiet over some things Nigerians consider as anomaly? For instance, the return of Abdul Rashid Maina to...
We had spoken severally. Maybe you did not want to read the PDP. Maybe you have your interest somewhere else. We've spoken severally about it, severally, again and again.
But people are saying that the PDP, we know, has not been very vibrant in attacking and criticizing the issues of governance. Unlike, you rightly said it, before the 2015 election, the APC was all over the place talking about...
APC has never been in government until now. You know, so for them it was everything and anything goes. But for a party like the PDP that has been in government for 16 years, there are certain things that you, as such a party that is the largest political party in Africa, you have to really measure your utterances and know when it's time to do or say A, B, or C. And I think we have done a good job, even though we are very new to opposition. And not all, individually, some of us have been in opposition most of our political career. But then the party, majority of its members have not been in opposition. So it's a new development. But by and large, I must commend so far what the PDP has done.
But the PDP, your party, alleges marginalization, or what that the war against corruption is targeted at the PDP, especially the immediate past administration and its officials, saying that many of them are being goaled because of the fact that they are in opposition.
Well, there are instances which you want to make reference to, and based on that, we had to formally make a complaint to the presidency. The chairman and I went there and had audience with the chief of staff, and we formally submitted a letter condemning that, and told them to do the needful and make sure that PDP members are not just singled out and punished for reasons which all political parties cannot be exonerated for. When you talk about campaign funds, there's no political party that can escape that. There's no political party that can be exonerated. Campaign funds are campaign funds. You know, the difficulty in that is when you have when they say come and take money for your state?
Campaign funds are alleged to have come from the coffers of the government, because the government is saying that there was monumental corruption, and that there are revelations of monies being recovered and properties being forfeited to the government, properties that were owned by the officials of the past administration.
Well, you work for an organization. You have come now to interview me in my residence. You probably will have put up a voucher, a request going to interview, and the people who are supposed to attend to you will have attended to you. I'm sure you did not ask them the resources they gave to you, where it came from.
Where?
So people, when we go on campaign, people have monies given to them for campaign from the First Republic to the Second Republic to the Third Republic to the Fourth Republic, Fifth, and it will continue. So the truth of the matter is, when I'm pointing this finger at you, Obi, I have these four fingers pointing at myself. And you see, it's a very difficult thing. That's why no success has been recorded in all of this.
But in some other climes, in developed parts of the world, like the United States, which we are emulating their democratic system, campaign funds naturally come from private individuals, corporate organizations, not government coffers and stuff like that.
Well, like you said, in the developed world, and you are talking about this world that is what? What do you call this one? The third world, or the developing world, or what do you call that?
Well, we're emulating the democratic system.
Well, that is now spanning over 250 years. We have just done how many?
18 years.
We'll get there. But it's important. You see, the PDP is in full alignment with this government to tackle corruption. Quite honestly, I'm saying this now with all sense of seriousness and responsibility. The PDP will align itself fully with this government in tackling corruption. But then we also insist that in doing that, it must not be selective. And we have instances at which we say these are selective cases. And we can't go far if we do that. We can't cover the ground we intend to cover once that is established.
Now let's come to your state, Anambra. You were part of, largely part of the last governorship election in Anambra State. And the PDP was expected to have done marvelously well. But it came distant third in the election. What happened?
Well, I mean, you see, when you come to the politics of Anambra, a lot of people have come to realize that ABGA is like an Igbo party kept there in the wings, that whenever there is a doubt about what to do with the big parties, be it PDP, be it APC, they easily fall back. Say, well, this is our own party. However, we try to reorganize the PDP as much as possible. I championed it, you know, and we started well. We started well, but along the line, some of our members felt that the candidate who emerged, one was not an altogether old hand in the PDP, and that it should have been somebody who has been in the party all along, who should fly the flag. But you see, the truth is, we went through the process, and the process produced the candidate. There's no question that the candidate is a very ably qualified candidate, very, very sound candidate. But they thought otherwise, and all attempts between them and the candidates as the aspirants, you know, to reach some understanding and resolutions didn't work out well. And so most of them just went back, coiled back into their shells, and a whole lot of things from that moment went wrong. And the incumbent governor himself, well, was done quite well in his own way. The governor, he's done well. Took the challenge, and they used a lot of things that could easily sway the people, you know, calling on the spirit of Emeko Juku, and you know, at times a lot of people see that as something that has strong affinity with the Igbo people. So at the end of the whole exercise, it became clear that we shot ourselves on the foot in the PDP because we did not come out fully and wholly to support our candidate. Like they say, all that is history.
There was strong allegation that PDP was involved in vote buying in the Anambra State governorship election.
No, I did not experience that, and you know, you see, I'm an old man now in politics. I'm spanning 40 years now in politics. That I should not, just because people say, oh, this happened, I will join the bandwagon and say, oh, they said this, they said that. No, I have to convince myself. I have to say, yes, practically, oh, I saw money changing hands, which I didn't say. So I cannot come and say, oh, they said.
But you were actually in Anambra State during that period, and as observer teams, both local and somehow international, alleged that there were a lot of vote buying and materials exchange hands.
They could have seen that where they went to, but I mean, I'm not sure anybody will be bold enough really to come and start, you know, giving out money in the polling booths where I will go and cast my vote. That wouldn't happen. They could go somewhere else, but I'm only saying that I didn't see what you're talking about. And since I did not see what you are talking about, I cannot give credence to it. I mean, international observers can say whatever they want to say. Maybe they saw what they're saying. I don't know. I wasn't with them. But I'm talking about my own area.
There was a serious voter apathy in the Anambra election, and people alleged that felt that it was because of the threat of the IPOB.
No, that's not true. I mean, that's not true. When the whole thing started, it was quite slow, but midway through, it picked up virtually everywhere. It picked up virtually everywhere. There was a huge presence of the security agencies. So the first thing everybody says, well, let us know what this we're up to. So, but when they realized that it was just all in the interest of everybody being safe, and then people trooped out. You know, and the innovation of going to accredit yourself and vote simultaneously was very useful. So people came out later in the day, and it was.
So what do you say exactly about the IPOB and their role, political role in the Southeast?
That was not like that. I mean, the election came and went peacefully. Nobody talked about IPOB. You know, I mean, IPOB has never been a violent organization. You know, they've not been going anywhere. I don't know if they came and attacked them and all that. But for me, I think we have passed that. I believe we have passed that. And when I say so, I think I know what I'm talking about.
Now, you're a member of I want to take you back to the scenario you gave about 2015 and the National Peace Committee, which you are a member. Is that committee still in existence?
Yeah, it's still there. But, you know, maybe not doing as much as they should, but it's there.
It was very instrumental in bringing about peace in 2015.
Absolutely.
Looking forward, do you see the committee having any role in 2019?
Well, it depends on how it is managed. I mean, I happen to be the driving force behind it at inception. It was my world-acclaimed Abuja Peace Accord when I brought Kofi Annan, the Commonwealth Secretary, the United Nations Secretary General, and Emeka Anyoko, the Commonwealth Secretary General, to come and officiate at my all-party summit, where I drafted the Memorandum of Understanding between President Jonathan, as he then was, and General Buhari, as he then was, and all other candidates and party chairmen, working hand in gloves with IPAC, Inter-Party Advisory Council, INEC of Tahiru Jega, and the security agencies, you know, the international community, the embassies and high commissions. They approached me because the tension was high, and then we needed to douse it. And when I gave them this proposal, United Nations bought into it. And Mr. Ban Ki-moon, who was Secretary of United Nations, then sent his special envoy overseeing ECOWAS, Ambassador Ibn Chambers, to come and see me and to encourage that I follow it through. And that's what they did. And I assured them that it was going to be a huge success. I personally went to General Buhari, as he then was. And the two events I did, I went to him and he came. You know, and, President Jonathan himself did not believe that I would be able to get Kofi Annan to come over and all that. And when they all came, they were amazed. And, oh my goodness, this is something else. So I think when that was done, Mr. Ban Ki-moon now sent me a congratulatory message, thanked me, and then requested that I immediately put together a national peace committee. And as that was on, Bishop Hassan Kuka, having watched my program, the Abuja Peace Accord, felt also the need for a national peace committee to follow up. So he and I worked together and went to John Cardinal Onayekon, who gave his blessings to it. And then we set up the lists from General Abdul Salam Abubakar as chairman, Commodore Bituki as deputy, and all the other 23 members. Set the ball rolling. We had so many meetings. He and I were conveners. Matthew Kuka and I were conveners. The rest, they say, is history.
Senator Benobi, you accused the ruling APC government of destabilizing what you call the solid foundation the PDP laid for the unity and advancement of Nigeria in 16 years. If you remember, how do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I just want to take you to only one aspect, just one. When we conducted the elections in 2015, that was the first time that the international community came out to say the elections met international standards. Ditto for 2015, which was why it was seamless in the transformation. One thing you cannot deny the PDP government is that we tried to sanitize the electoral process and to make people's votes to count. Now, if you look at the elections conducted so far, you will have cause to worry. However, there was a lot of improvement in the Anambra election, and I pray that they sustain that. Because one of the key indices in our democracy is the electoral process. Once you get it wrong, the whole thing crashes. That's why you can see what happened in 2003, well, 1999, 2003, and then that of 2007 became so scandalous. Even President Yaradua, who won the election, came up and said, no, this is unacceptable. And then he set up the Justice Wise panel to review the electoral process and sanitize it. But when President Jonathan took over, he did a lot of work in sanitizing that process, the electoral process. And fortunately, he found a partner in Tahiru Jega. So it was possible and things worked out well.
So would you preview the 2019 election? Would you see, will you foresee the situation where the process will be free, fair, and credible?
Well, I want to pray that it will be. I just said that from the past elections conducted by them, there was some improvement in the Anambra one. Maybe they have woken up from their slumber to know that the needful has to be done. I mean, what we did in the PDP was not anything, not the rocket science at all. The people who did them. So they have to find a way of trying to identify such people in their own government and in their own cabinet to be able to get them to champion the cause.
Okay. From all indications, President Muhammadu Buhari may run for a second term, run for the 2019 general election. Is he a threat to the PDP?
No. General Buhari, or President Buhari, it was the PDP members who went into the APC to actualize victory for the APC. I hope you remember. But now we are trying to get them to come back so that we will know one who is left. And then we will do the tabulations and know those who are left, what can they achieve. But you see, I belong to the school of thought that insists that there is a time to politic and there is a time to govern. I believe this is still a time to govern. So, and when it is time to govern, all hands must be on deck. Because if we derail, the whole country derails. Now, when the time to politic comes, then I will put up the umbrella, hold the umbrella, and provide shelter with the umbrella for millions of Nigerians.
What do you say about the Nigerian economy? The economy has been in the doldrum, and the APC government says what they inherited from the PDP was next to nothing, that the economy was almost crumbled before they took over power in 2015.
The truth of the matter is that they saw the economic situation, and it was part and parcel of their campaign message. It was in the holistic package of the change mantra, the things they were going to do, revamp the economy. So, I mean, they came into power in 2015, and a couple of months now, it will be 3 years of being in power, and still everything that goes wrong, they say, is the Jonathan administration. And people are tired of hearing all of that. People are wanting to see the change that you promised them. The change that you promised them. So you gave a promise, fulfill your promise. So it's not a question of if anything goes wrong here, you say, oh, it's Jonathan. It goes wrong there, it's patience. It goes wrong there. We want to see your own programs. And it will all be a campaign issue very soon. And these matters will be put on the table bare for Nigerians to decide.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you very much, Chief Senator Ben Obi, for talking to Signature TV on Signature TV interview. Thank you very much.
Many thanks indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers.